Greetings, my fellow Nigerian. Why do bad things happen? I'm here to answer the question, and then what I'm trying to do is to just give you what I've been able to see and what I've been able to research for myself. But whatever I'm saying is going to be self-evident, such that it will make sense within your own setting. So why do bad things happen? What I want us to do is we'll be shifting the words. We'll shift bad things, we'll replace it with process. So we can interchange the word with whatever you want to say, bad thing or good thing, we interchange it with the word process. Because the summary of the idea or what I've seen is that bad things are only bad in your perspective. But in nature, what happens is that there are processes that have certain outcomes, or there are actions and then there are consequences. So it is only in the context of your own experience that you will now say it is good or bad. But in nature, what we can see practically and in reality is that there are certain processes, but you might interpret it as good or bad. Now, for example, assuming I built my house by the sea or by the ocean or by a river, and then there was heavy rainfall, and then because of the heavy rainfall there was flooding. So that flooding would definitely wash away my house or flood my house and damage my properties. So in my experience, I can say that's a bad thing. But in reality, the only thing there is that once the river banks are overflown, or when the water overflows the banks, then that's what you call flooding. So in your farm, in your business, in your home, whatever consequences that overflowing impact in your business or farm, you call it flooding. Or you say it's a bad thing that happened, a calamity. So, but the reality is that those are the expected outcomes. If the river overflows its banks, then it is going to be flooding. So the only thing you could do is to make sure you are not in the path of the river, so that if it overflows, it will not affect you. Now, to bring it back home, there is nothing good or bad outside your personal experience. But I've seen that there is more value in appreciating events outside the context of good or bad, and then try to do your best to make whatever you can make with whatever exactly you are dealing with. The reason why I came up with this topic is because I heard somebody ask that question, and I thought that I can provide some insights in that line. Take a child, for example. If a child loses his or her hands because of fire, maybe there is a fire incident, you will see that you will say it's a terrible thing that has happened to that child. But for example, your son or your daughter in your house, you've told him that, see, anytime you are cooking in the kitchen, you should stay away from the fire. You have told this boy several times, but the boy does not understand, because he can't understand now, he's a child. So, but on this fateful day, the boy now came, and you just stepped out to grab something from the store, and then the boy put his hand into the fire. So the fire burnt the child, and then it was a disaster, right? Because maybe there's some deformity, the skin, all those stuff. So we can say that's a bad thing, but it's not necessarily bad. It's just the inevitable consequence of the fact that if you put your hand in fire, fire will burn you. It doesn't happen any other way. If it doesn't happen like that, then nature has failed. You see another aspect. Nature has failed. If you put your hand in fire and it does not burn you, then nature has failed. That means nature is no more accountable. We need nature to be accountable. We need fire, for example, in this case, to burn you. We need fire to burn. See, the intention of the fire is not to burn you. The intention of the fire, or the fire doesn't have intention. The fire is a consequence of certain reactions or certain um, let's say reactions. The fire is a consequence of certain reactions, so we can now use it to cook. When we use it to cook, we say it's a good thing, but if it burn you, say it's a bad thing. So see, good and bad it varies from person to person, because if, for example, we arrested a terrorist right now, then the verdict was that the terrorist will be killed. It is a good thing for a lot of people because that terrorist has caused them a lot of pain. But for the terrorist family, it's going to be a bad thing, probably. Depending on how they have developed themselves, how they have kept themselves enlightened, it might not be a bad thing. It might just be an inevitable consequence for wrong action. So now, let's take 2023 election, for example. I have to talk about politics because I was telling my uncle in the village just some hours ago that my children do not have a future. And this is an effort to make sure that I leave a future for them. So in 2023, remember we are talking about why bad things happen. So, but I'm trying to open your mind to see other ways to look at it. In 2023 example, the opinion on ground is showing that the largest number of people voted for Peter Obi. And for some reason, which we know because of malpractice, both in INEC and in the judiciary, Peter Obi was not sworn in as the president. So between 2020, so now after he was not sworn in, Peter Obi took the route of going to court, which probably, as at that time, it looked like it saved a lot of lives, right? Nobody came out. Normally, you should be able to protest and make your opinion known in a democracy. But for some reason, everybody now knows that if you protest, you might go to prison or get killed. NSAS is shining in terms of evidence for this statement. So in 2023, after the mandate was given to Peter Obi but was not verified by INEC and the courts, he took the route of going to courts, and that route was the next expected outcome in a democracy and following due process. So a lot of lives that were supposed to be lost were not lost. We are still talking about why bad things happen. Now, the cost of living in Nigeria in 2023 was bad. It was really expensive. Bad because, let me not digress, so let's just use bad for now. The cost of living was really high in 2023 and it was bad. The security of the country was also bad in 2023, and that's why that mandate was given. So in 2023, we needed to change that status quo to make cost of living better, security better. So after the mandate was denied the people, Peter Obi went to court. He did not go to the streets to insist, because the only way, if institutions are failing, the only other option is to demonstrate and show that the institutions are not giving you what you want. So by that means, you can get the system back into functioning properly, because in a democracy, that system is supposed to work so that it's the way to address any inconsistencies. So, but when there are inconsistencies that are seen to be made by the systems that are supposed to stop those inconsistencies, then the only other way is to go outside the system by protest, by different other, non-compliance, so many other ways that have been done in the past. So now, back to after the mandate was rejected. So we saved a lot of lives because we did not protest, we did not go on the streets. So now, fast forward to 2026, you will realize that the cost of living is now more terrible, or it was worse. It was bad before, it's now worse, right? The insecurity is now also worse. Then what I want you to pick is what the number of lives that has been lost to insecurity, the number of mental challenges, people that are already dead in the mind because they were kidnapped, and even after release, the trauma has so much impact. So if you calculate the number of people that have died, that have been killed, that have been bombed or killed or kidnapped between 2023 and now, the question I want you to ask is that if you went out to work to find a way to fix the system that is not working by protest, for example, those number of lives that were lost, would they be lost? And in the context of our discussion, why bad things happen, the not protesting, was it a good thing or a bad thing? And seeing now that you've lost those lives anyway because you did not protest, you did not fight for your mandate, then you still lost the lives, you still got a terrible standard of living because there is bad leadership. So you still didn't get what you want, but you still paid the price because that's the only consequence you can get. See, I don't think our leaders, as at this point in time, are wicked. It's just that you cannot necessarily give what you do not have. As a person, what you do is who you are. And who our president is what he has shown you over the past 3 years. Going to 4 years, he has shown you that if there is a bombing in Jos, for example, at most I will come to the airport and tell you that there is no light, I only have 10 minutes, and then I go back to wherever else I want to go. It's not that I don't care, but there is no light. So I had promised you that if I do not give you electricity, do not vote for me the second time. Well, these hands on the ground are looking like I don't even want you to have an option to even vote anyway. So, but that aside, so the main thing there is that what you can expect in the next 4 years, if Tinubu is re-elected, you do not need to do so much. Just observe between now and the next 1 month. What does your president do with his time and with your resources? If you look at this, just forget the past. Let's just say you can forget the past. Just observe the president between now and the next 1 month or the next 2 months. Look at the kind of policies. Look at the kind of people he puts in position. Look at how accountable they are. Then you will know that, see, it's not that they are bad people or they are wicked. Fact is that you can only be what you are. You can only give and perform certain actions. Now, I know that I'm shifting this discussion, but let me still put it well again. I want you to follow me. I had bought some drawing books that I'm supposed to be using to demonstrate any topic that I want to share. So I'm supposed to use that drawing book to demonstrate it so that you make sense out of what I'm saying. So let me just pause this video and get those drawing books. So I got the drawing books. So I bought them. This was the first sketch I made, right? So my children, I have 2 kids, they found access to this drawing book. So see what they did with it. Okay, so my daughter, this is what she used the drawing book to do. I guess they saw my own sketch and they are trying to do something like that. So she could only go 2 pages with the drawing book, and she spared it for me. I had cut this out for them to use it so that they will not destroy the book, because I already know what kids will do. So they came up with this. So, but it seems like this was not enough. So they went into the main drawing book itself. So this is what my son did with it. He was not relenting at all. He went all the way in. You see it? This is what my son did. He went all the way. He was so interested in the drawing book, and he did his best. So, see, it would be fool or foul or a misunderstanding for me to hold them so, to think that they are wicked. Why did they destroy all this money? Now I've bought this drawing book. They have just made a mess out of it. But this is what kids do. So if I give them my phone, I'm sure that they will do something in line of what they have done with this drawing book with my phone. If I gave them my laptop, I'm not surprised if I come to the kitchen and see them trying to cut onion with my laptop. So, but this is what they will do. So it's not that they are wicked. That's who they are right now. They cannot be any other thing, right? So this is what they must get. So assuming you give them leadership, for example, what do you think they will do with it? They will do what they can do in line with who they are as kids, growing, still developing. So I think as it concerns leadership, you know the process of metamorphosis, the egg, the larva, the pupa, and the butterfly. Most times our leaders, current leaders, are still like the caterpillar, which is the larva. Because in terms of leadership, who should be a leader? A leader is the one, it's not something you decide for yourself, right? A leader is somebody that can see what others cannot see. So in the context of governance, a leader is somebody that can see better, he can calculate more consequences, more implications, more impact, more than the largest number of people. Then he rises so that he can lead them into new possibilities. So that's what a leader should be, and that's what governance, that role is supposed to be. So, but when you put these templates, then you put it side by side with what our current leaders are doing, you see that they do not qualify. So, because you have given something that has so much value and so much implication and so much consequence for a lot of people, to people that do not qualify, you get this kind of leadership. So they are not wicked. So you try to criticize the government, you try to tell them what, because the leader is representing you, trying to do better for you, other than maybe if 100 of us cannot lead at the same time, right? So we put the best of us out there to do the best for us. So he's now not getting it right, then you try to complain, then you get arrested. You are a soldier, you try to complain for the tools you need to protect your people, then you get, what do they call it? They remove you from the service. So these kind of actions are in line with the leaders and who they are. And it is guaranteed that they can only give this kind of service. And it is self-evident, even in the preparations for the next election, how they are organizing around it. You see that they are also recreating who they are in what the electoral process is, in what the political parties, how they are destroying other parties and, making life very hard for everybody to progress. So, our leaders are not wicked. It is us, the people, that are lacking. Our leaders, current leaders, cannot give anything other than what they have shown to give. And it is always the shorter, it's a childish thing to do. If what is really difficult in not being accountable, really look at it. If you give me your mandate, say I should govern you, and I'm supposed to provide for you, I'm supposed to organize around your well-being, I'm supposed to organize, even traffic lights. You go through a traffic light right now. The next time I want to go through that traffic light, they succeeded to bring traffic light for us. So, wow, traffic light is now working in my state. Wow, you go through it the first time. The next time I want to go through it, you have to calculate, is it still working? These things I do, is the traffic light still working? Will I wait in vain? Is this light still working? Okay, it's still working. Oh, okay, this one of the numbers cancelled, but it's not been replaced. So leadership is so simple, but it's so difficult if you give it to people that behave like my children. You get what we are getting. Even if I was just a successful entrepreneur, and I wanted to make some changes in a city, I can do it without government power. It's not so difficult to organize things and make them work for your good. It's not so difficult. You just need to want to do it. You just need to see the need. Then you can organize around it and keep building. Those kids I showed you, at last election, I tried to participate in the party itself. So, let me not, we will discuss about this. Let me come back to what I'm saying. Bad things, why do bad things happen? So, this next bad thing that is going to happen, remember I said it is only bad in our experience because what we would have gotten from it is not what we are getting. So, we call it bad. But in reality, our president is doing what he can do. It's not that he's bad or wicked. He just cannot deliver anything else other than what he is delivering because that's what he knows. You get it? So, he will continue to deliver that for you. He can't do any other thing. And if you try to stop him, he will do what kids would do. What do you expect if a kid had a gun and you wanted to do something he does not like? He will just shoot you out of some childishness or something, So the question is, there are so many of us out there that are enlightened that could, if you give us this country, you can come on the street, the police ask you, what is your paper? You check first. Are you sure you should be asking me that question? It's not that you want to not be in compliance, right? You just make sure that, hey, see, if you're not asking me the right question, you are in school. I'll just tell my president for you. So, this kind of country is possible, where your confidence is that the law works and it will stand by you because you are in line. So 2027, it is still unfolding. It's still going to be unfolding. Why do bad things happen? There are no bad things. There are no good things. It's just that in your own personal experience, maybe you wrote JAMB, right? You didn't get the result you wanted. Oh, it's bad, right? It's bad just for you because you did not meet up. But JAMB is not necessarily good or bad. It's just an exam. You can either pass or fail, right? Now let me bring it further down into something that might matter to you more, even though you know that who governs you matters most because it affects everything. I'm an architect by training. I need money for healthcare, or I need money to patch my roof. How will I get money to patch my roof? I can only get money if somebody gives me a job. First problem, I need money to patch my roof. How can I get money? In the line of trade that I've chosen, it can only come if somebody gives me a job to design and build a house for him. Now, the next factor that determines whether you will get that job, you now have to ask how many architects are there within the space. Let's say in this space, there are 100, the space I'm talking about, let's say in Oka as a city, there are 100 architects in Oka. In Onitsha, there are 100 architects in Onitsha. In Enugu, there are 100 architects in Enugu. Now, we just have one client that needs a house. The factors that determine whether we get that client is now divided by 300 because we have Oka, Onitsha, and Enugu in this my example. So, it's bad that I do not have money to repair my roof, in my experience. But the main thing there is just that I have a need for funding to repair a roof. So that need is not good or bad. It's just a need. So, but that need, for me to feel it, in the line of trade that I've chosen, it can only come from somebody giving me a service, having need for my service, or somebody dashing me money, or giving me a gift. So, in this scenario, we have 3 cities. I've called out 300 architects in each city. Now we now come back. So the probability of me getting that job is divided by 300 other architects. Then we now come down skill, your expertise, level of expertise, it now determine whether you are now 1/100 or 1/250, because the factors, you remember, let's say 300 people, then you remove, in terms of skill now, you are more skilled, you are top 100, so 200 people already lost their chances, because if the person that wants to give the job were to come and do an interview for 100 people, assuming he had the time, then it will eliminate 200 people and you still have your shot to repair your roof. So because of just this consideration of skill, consideration of location, two consideration, definitely in real life there are many more factors, but in this my example, I'm just showing you that you can calculate these things, you know where you are. So we have come down to 100, you are one person in 100, 3 cities. Now, cost to build a house in Oka, if I'm paying an architect to come from Onitsha, to come from Enugu, it's going to be more expensive. So we narrow it down. Any architect in Enugu or Onitsha, we remove them. We now come down to 50. So you are 1 in 50 because of scale, location, and then, yeah, for now. So it's come down to 1 in 50. Now, what does the client prefer, or who is the client? What kind of people does he like? Now, if you are not, maybe you are a young guy, you make your hair, you have dada. If the client is a kind of client that like respectable member that are following basic or traditional method of expression and delivery, then maybe he has removed you out now. You are now lost your shot, because the client in question does not like people that do not look a certain way. But if you now have a client that wants people that look stylish, very nice and well cut, then you now have your shots, whereas the person that is not well styled and well cut now lost their shots, because different clients want different things. So you now bring it closer to now 20 people. Let's say the client wants styled people, looking nice, looking good. So it bring the circle now to say 1 in 20 among the styled, well styled people, 1 in 20. Then the client now wanted somebody from Igbo tribe. Oh, any Hausa Yoruba person is eliminated, so you now come down to 5 persons. You are now 1 in 5. So like this, for every job you get, if you were careful or interested to know, if you investigate, you will find out why the clients selected you, because definitely you wouldn't be the only choice. So, but the main thing there is that most times most people are not interested to investigate, so they just pray or just wish or hope. So, but why do bad things happen? Let me change it. Why do you not have a job? For example, not having a job as a bad thing. It is because if you take the factors surrounding what field you are involved, you will see the reason why you are not able to, not just that you are not able to have the job, we can also predict for you that you will not also have a job. Given the context, given your personal context, what you have access to, we can calculate these factors because it is just what it is. That the only way you will know and know what I'm saying is that, why is it that as a medical practitioner, maybe you're a doctor, why is it that your money only comes from when you treat people in your hospital? Why doesn't money come from maybe you selling sugarcane? So your money comes from your trade or your craft. So in that trade and craft, there are factors that you can account for. Most times, advertising help to narrow these things down to your favor, because through advertising, some factors in terms of reach, access, then what kind of service, through these factors, we are able to bring these things home. So I was just coming back from the farm. I was telling my manager that he deceived me, he tricked me, it was just a joke. That I came into this business. He told me, he gave me bill of quantity that feed is 12.5, but I'm buying feed 31,000 something now. So that he deceived me. I say, Jokingly, imagine you came into building a business in Nigeria and then you had a 5-year plan. 5-year plan for how your business would be and build. By the time Nigeria finish happening to you with your financial budget and plan. So these factors, so the reason why your life will not happen the way you want it to happen, why your finances, we can guarantee that it will not improve. If you do not have access to AI, have access to freelancing and remote jobs, we can guarantee why your life is going to continue to be bad. I can predict for you how your future will be. The same way I'm telling my uncle that my kids do not have a future and we laugh about it. I can predict for you how your future will be, going by what the status quo is. Then we can also predict for you what the future can be. Because remember, why do bad things happen? These things is not really bad or good. It can be calculated. The bottom line is that there are several factors. For any issue you want to bring up, we can calculate it for you. Several factors. This is not rocket science. For the future of Nigeria, several factors. The next leader is not good or bad. Our inability to insist. How can you insist? Is a relevant question for 2027. How can you insist? You can insist through the ballot. You can insist by non-cooperation. You can insist because see, the amount of pain, even if it's mental or emotional, that we've gone through over the past 3 years, just the fact that I know that just going like this, anything can happen. See, it is not necessary. These problems we have are not necessary. That's the worst part. We have unnecessary problems. These are just bad things in context of our discussion, but in reality it's not good or bad. It's just, these are the playing out of several actions that we are doing. Remember, in 2023 we played it safe, we didn't do anything, right? So let's say the worst scenario of the number of lives that will be lost if we organized, say we insist on our mandate. Those number of lives that would have been lost, I could calculate, say maybe there are way more lives lost right now, way more impact in terms of cost for your living, cost of living. Even at some point this year, I didn't even have money to take myself to the hospital. You can imagine, so much potential, right? But I don't have money to go to the hospital. So we'll wait, calculate the next money, come and calculate, then we push it. You see, I know it's the same for so many people out there. The cost of living, the possibilities in this country, which are tremendous possibilities, opportunities, we can make magic happen. We can be, who says we cannot be the leader in the world? Give us 20 years if we do the right things. We could change these things. It's not so difficult. There's so much knowledge now, so much possibility, so much access. The world is now almost one place, So, but do you have what it takes? Or will you see the need to insist? Because there will be a price to pay for not insisting. If you look at Lagos, the way Lagos has been governed in the past 27 years, the father of that governance is in the presidency right now. So if you want to say you will not insist, the next 27 years in Nigeria, look at Lagos, so you will understand what it will be, right? So, my dear, summary, I've spoken about so many things because these things are possible. Just know that if we can insist and make it count, we will do the right things, we'll be law-abiding, but we can design solutions around our problems. This is not rocket science. What we can anticipate for 2027 is not so difficult to calculate. What's so difficult there in cheating you? Is it not if you vote 10, I'll count 100. If you vote 10 for A, I'll count 100 for B. How is it difficult? Is it so difficult? It's not difficult. Is it not if you come out and just shoot you, you will die? Or you don't come out and armed robber kidnap you and kill you somewhere? These are the options, So we can organize around the future of Nigeria. It need not take time. It need not take time. If we are willing, we can change the narrative. But remember, this bad thing something. I hope you understand that there is no bad thing or good thing. It's just subjective. When you put it subjectively, you say it's bad for you. If I cut my hand, right, it's bleeding. It's bad for me. But we need that knife to be sharp. If it's not sharp, when you want to cut the right thing, you will not cut. So it's bad. You see now, if you cut here, it's bad, right? But if you cut onion, it's good. So in your personal life, you do not have a wife, you do not have a husband, you do not, what don't you have? It's not bad or good. But when you interpret it, you give it meaning, then, oh, it's bad. Shit, it's bad. So we can interpret it. So what else can you misinterpret? I can always bring clarity, if you want. So till next time, this Nigeria can happen the way we want. My light is dead, so I have to stop now. Bye bye. See you.